China has made a truly gruesome discovery, and you need to know about it. Beneath billions of tons of sand lies the solution to one of its biggest problems. The Chinese government has embarked on what many considered a mission impossible: removing vast amounts of sand from some of the world's harshest deserts. Just 1 year later, the results are nothing short of mind-boggling. This bold environmental project has completely reshaped the land in ways no one expected. Where did all that sand go? And how is this bold move changing the desert forever? Today, you'll finally find out what's happening in China. Curious? Join us and let's go. Number 1. The Desert Crisis. China faces a unique challenge that's been quietly growing for decades. As the world's third largest country, its vast landscape stretches across nearly 3.7 million square miles, slightly larger than the entire United States. But here's the shocking reality. About a quarter of this enormous land area is nearly uninhabitable, dominated by harsh, unforgiving deserts where life struggles to exist. These barren expanses aren't just empty spaces on a map, they're active threats to China's development. The Gobi Desert alone covers over 500,000 square miles, making it one of the largest deserts in the world. Then there's the Taklamakan Desert, covering approximately 13,000 square miles, a sweltering landscape of constantly shifting sands. Together with other desert regions, they consume more than 25% of China's total land area. For a country with 1.4 billion people and rapidly expanding urban centers, this presents a critical problem. Cities are growing, industries are expanding, but usable land is increasingly scarce. The math simply doesn't add up. Too many people, too little habitable land. Every year, these deserts claim more territory through a process called desertification, where previously viable land turns to sand and dust. The desert regions don't just sit quietly either. Fierce sandstorms regularly rage through these areas, eroding everything in their path. These storms don't stay confined to the desert. They travel hundreds of miles, affecting air quality in major cities and damaging vital agricultural land. For decades, these desert regions were seen as lost causes, areas to be contained rather than reclaimed. But in November 2024, satellite images revealed something unexpected. The desert areas were shrinking. This wasn't a natural phenomenon or a measurement error. It was deliberate human intervention on a scale never before attempted. China had launched a massive campaign to literally move billions of tons of sand and transform these barren wastelands into something productive. The question is, where did all that sand go, and what exactly is happening in these formerly desolate regions? Number 2. Desert Highway Revolution. The Taklamakan Desert Highway stands as a testament to human determination against seemingly impossible odds. In 2022, this engineering marvel opened to the public, cutting directly through one of the world's most hostile environments. Stretching over 207 miles and connecting the previously isolated Yuli and Camel counties, this highway runs through 191 miles of pure desert, terrain that was once considered completely impassable. Built with an investment of roughly $261 million, this highway wasn't just about creating a road. It represented the first major physical intervention into the desert landscape. Construction teams had to develop entirely new techniques to stabilize the constantly shifting sand dunes. They couldn't just build on top of the sand, they had to transform the very foundation beneath the roadway. The process began with removing billions of tons of sand from the proposed route. Special machines were developed that could excavate and transport enormous quantities of sand efficiently. The removed sand wasn't simply dumped elsewhere, it was strategically relocated to create buffer zones and barriers against future sandstorms. This marked the beginning of China's massive sand removal project. Engineers faced challenges that had never been encountered in road construction before. Temperatures in the Taklamakan can swing from 104 degrees during the day to near freezing at night, causing materials to expand and contract dramatically. Sand dunes can move up to 20 feet per year, potentially swallowing any permanent structure. Water, essential for construction, is virtually non-existent in the region. Number 3. Solar farms. The vast, empty expanses of China's deserts have always had one abundant resource: sunlight. Receiving up to 3,000 hours of sunshine annually, These regions experience some of the most intense solar radiation on Earth. What was once considered the desert's most punishing feature is now being harnessed as its greatest asset through massive solar farm installations. China has rapidly deployed solar panels across thousands of acres of desert land, creating what locals call solar seas, vast oceans of black panels stretching to the horizon. These installations aren't small experimental projects. They're industrial-scale power plants generating gigawatts of electricity. A single desert solar farm can now power entire cities hundreds of miles away. The process begins with stabilizing the sand. Special chemical compounds are sprayed across the surface, binding the top layer of sand into a firm crust. This prevents erosion and creates a stable base for the solar infrastructure. Once secured, thousands of workers install the panel arrays, connect the power systems, and build the transmission infrastructure. These solar farms serve a dual purpose. First, they generate clean energy, helping China reduce its dependence on coal power and meet its climate goals. Second, and perhaps more surprisingly, they actually help transform the desert environment itself. The panels create shade in previously exposed areas, reducing surface temperatures and evaporation rates. This creates microclimates where limited moisture can be preserved. I have a question for you. First, I would like to say that it is possible to follow the greatest curiosities of our world every day, but to do so, you need to be subscribed to our channel. So, are you already subscribed? If not, take the opportunity to subscribe now. Also, take the opportunity to like the video, so YouTube will recommend more videos from our channel. So leave your like right now. And now that you have done that, let's go. Number 4. The Great Green Wall. China's most ambitious and visually striking desert transformation project is undoubtedly the Great Green Wall, a massive artificial forest being planted along the edges of the Gobi Desert. This isn't a small tree planting initiative. It's the largest ecological engineering project in human history, designed to eventually stretch over 2,800 miles. The process begins with the removal of tons of surface sand to reach more stable soil layers beneath. Once exposed, these areas are treated with special soil amendments, including clay and organic matter, to create a growing medium that can support plant life. Water delivery systems, including subsurface irrigation pipes and water-retaining polymers, are installed to maximize the efficiency of every precious drop of water. Workers then plant specially selected trees, shrubs, and grasses that can survive the harsh desert conditions. These aren't random species. They're carefully chosen for their drought tolerance, deep root systems, and ability to fix nitrogen in the soil. The star performer is the saxaul, a remarkable desert tree that can survive on minimal water and stabilize massive amounts of sand with its extensive root system. Since 1978, China has planted more than 66 billion trees as part of this initiative. Satellite images show the dramatic effect. Areas that were once bare sand now display the distinct green signature of vegetation. The planted areas create a physical barrier that blocks the movement of sand during storms, protecting farmland and communities beyond. Number 5. Community transformation. Perhaps the most profound change isn't happening to the land itself, but to the communities living on the edges of China's deserts. For generations, these people were victims of the harsh environment, fighting a losing battle against encroaching sand and diminishing resources. Today, they've become the frontline champions of desert transformation, building new identities and economies around environmental restoration. The change began with training programs that taught local residents new skills in desert management. Traditional farmers learned techniques for desert agriculture, including how to construct shade houses, manage drip irrigation systems, and grow specialized desert crops. Others were trained in forestry, solar panel maintenance, or water management. What was once seen as useless knowledge, how to work with desert conditions, suddenly became valuable expertise. Local communities now participate actively in the sand removal process. Instead of seeing sand as a curse, many have developed micro-industries around it. The removed sand is used to make construction materials, glass products, and even specialized desert-themed art. Sand that was once an enemy to be fought is now a resource to be managed and utilized. Number 6. The sand economy. The question, of what happens to the billions of tons of sand removed from the desert has an unexpected answer. It's becoming the foundation of an entirely new economic sector. Far from being a waste product, this sand is being systematically repurposed, creating value chains that help fund the continuing desert transformation projects. Construction represents the largest use case. Desert sand, once properly processed to remove salts and increase binding properties, becomes an input for concrete production, bricks, and other building materials. Special factories have been established near the transformation zones specifically to process this sand. The processed materials then supply China's massive construction industry, reducing the need to mine sand from rivers and lakes, an environmentally destructive practice. Glass manufacturing has emerged as another major destination for desert sand. After cleaning and sorting to achieve the correct silica content, the sand becomes the primary ingredient in everything from window glass to fiber optic cables. Several specialized glass factories now operate exclusively with desert sand, producing high-quality products that are indistinguishable from those made with traditional sand sources. Number 7. Ghost Town 404. Deep in the remote expanses of China's Gobi Desert lies a haunting reminder of the Cold War era, an abandoned settlement known simply as Town 404. This mysterious ghost town, once a bustling community built around a top-secret nuclear facility, tells a fascinating story about China's desert history that few outsiders have ever heard. Founded in the 1950s as part of a classified government project, Town 404 was designed to be entirely self-sufficient, allowing its residents to live and work in complete isolation from the outside world. The settlement had everything its inhabitants needed: schools, hospitals, entertainment facilities, and even a vinegar factory that produced supplies for the entire region. Unlike conventional desert communities that developed gradually around water sources, Town 404 was carefully planned from scratch, with infrastructure designed to support a population dedicated to China's early nuclear program. The town operated under such secrecy that it didn't appear on maps for decades. Workers lived in a closely monitored environment where everything from food to healthcare was provided by the state. There was no need for taxis or public transportation in this compact community where everything was within walking distance. Despite the harsh desert conditions, engineers created relatively comfortable living conditions through innovative design features like underground cooling systems and specialized water conservation methods. In 2005, for reasons that remain somewhat mysterious, the town was suddenly abandoned. Some reports suggest the nuclear facilities had completed their useful life, while others indicate environmental concerns may have played a role in the relocation of residents. Whatever the cause, the result is a perfectly preserved time capsule of mid-20th century Chinese industrial architecture, slowly being reclaimed by the desert. Number 8. Mars on Earth. China's deserts aren't just providing resources for current needs, they're serving as testing grounds for humanity's next great frontier, space exploration. In one of the most ambitious projects yet, Chinese scientists have constructed a $1 million Mars simulation base in a particularly remote and harsh section of the Gobi Desert, where the landscape bears an uncanny resemblance to the red planet's surface. The base features specialized living modules designed to replicate the challenging conditions astronauts would face on Mars. These self-contained units must provide everything from oxygen generation to waste recycling, testing technologies that could eventually support human life millions of miles from Earth. The facilities allow researchers to conduct experiments on growing food, managing resources, and maintaining psychological health during extended isolation, all critical factors for future Mars missions. Number 9. Desert traffic control. Not all of China's desert innovations involve massive infrastructure projects or environmental engineering. Sometimes the most fascinating developments come in unexpected forms, like the world's first traffic light system designed specifically for camels. Around Mingsha Mountain near Dunhuang, traditional desert transportation collides with modern tourism in ways that created a unique problem requiring an equally unique solution. The area attracts millions of tourists annually, many eager to experience traditional camel rides across the dunes. With approximately 2,000 camels operating in the region, The narrow paths near the popular Crescent Lake oasis became dangerously congested. Camel traffic jams weren't just inconvenient. They posed genuine safety risks as the large animals competed for space with pedestrians and vehicles. In 2021, local authorities unveiled a surprisingly practical solution: dedicated traffic signals for camel caravans. These specialized lights feature either a green human figure or an illuminated camel symbol, clearly indicating when it's safe for visitors to cross paths with camel caravans. Since you enjoy content about China, I have this video especially for you. Click on it now to check it out. Also, check if you are already subscribed to the channel to receive more videos like this. Well, that's it, and until next time, Curious One.